Nikhil, very good evening. First up, let's address the elephant in the room. What explains the dropping of Shubman Gill?
Well, I think you said it right, Suresha, when you say that let's address the elephant in the room, because that definitely is the biggest talking point at the moment. I'd have to say, having followed this in the last few days, the non-selection of Shubman Gill does come as a surprise, but I'll add and I'll prefix another word before that, and I'll call it a pleasant surprise. And I'll tell you what, I mean, taking nothing away from Shubman Gill, he is your test captain at the moment. He is also your ODI captain at the moment. Who knows? And looking at the posture that the Indian team has had in the last few years, that they would like to have an all-format captain. That's why, who knows, he could be in the future an all-format captain as well. But as things stand right now, you're 2 months away from the all-important World Cup, a World Cup of which you are the defending champion, and some bold calls had to be taken. Unfortunately, in Shubman Gill's case, the experiment to have him on top of the order hadn't quite really worked out for the Indian team. I'm glad, and it's not quite often that we compliment the people that are in decision making positions, whether it is the selectors, whether it's the captain, whether it is the coach. Quite often selection, as they say, is something that doesn't please everyone. But I'd have to say this is that rare occasion where they have taken a bold call, a last minute call to have made that change to their 15 member squad to ensure that when they go to the all important World Cup, they put their best foot forward and take their best team, and which without doubt has been the team which had a Sanju Samsung on top. It was a team that on occasion could look at a Rinku Singh to be the finisher. And I think they've gone back to that tried and tested formula, something that had worked for them so well in the last year or so. They've only deviated from that in the last 4 months, where they got Shubman, maybe hoping that he could be the one who could take the reins from Suryakumar Yadav. But the form deserted him with the bat in the T20 format. So I think a good call. It's very rare that you accept your mistake, you course correct. But I have to compliment the decision maker. They've course corrected just at the right time.
And Nikhil, your thoughts on Ishan Kishan? He was nowhere in the scheme of things and now part of the World Cup squad.
That's very interesting. And I think the first thing that, you look at, why is it that Ishan Kishan comes in? And I think there are two major factors to look at here. The first, obviously, he gets a 100 in the final of the Syed Mushtaq Ali. That is the premier domestic T20 tournament. So, his team Jharkhand wins. So that grabs a lot of headlines. And it couldn't have been a more timely knock than the one that Ishan Kishan played it, because it came right before the selection. But I think more than that, apart from the couple of good knocks that he had in Syed Mushtaq Ali, otherwise he had a mixed bag of a season. But I think more than that, the primary reason that you see Ishan Kishan suddenly come in, and a Jitesh, who had so far been the second wicket keeper alongside Sanju Samson, dare I say, sometime even he was the first choice wicket keeper. The reason he's gone out and an Ishan Kishan comes in, it's all down to that one change. So imagine you take a Shubman Gill out, and on the face of it, it just looks like it's the opener that goes out. But it has a cascading effect on the rest of the team. What does that do? One opener goes out. That means Sanju Samsung or a Jitesh, which on occasion had to be asked to bat in the middle order, suddenly they free up that opener slot. Sanju Samson goes there. So now your wicketkeeper also becomes your opener. Now what you're looking at, Jitesh was fulfilling the role of the finisher. Now you're looking for a finisher. That's why a Rinku Singh comes in. So he fits into that particular position. And then that takes me to an Ishan Kishan. He is going to be your backup wicketkeeper. And who is he going to be a backup for? Sanju Samson. Where does Sanju Samson back? Top order. So you had to look at a backup wicketkeeper, the bats in the top order. I said timely form. Those things combined, I think that's where you can pinpoint the reason why Ishan Kishan has made it to the team.
And what would you say about Rinku Singh? He missed out on the South Africa series but was in the 15. Will we see him as a finisher in the 11?
I think that is something that they've had to do. Again, as I say, it again goes back to that starting point of Shubman Gill, because now Shubman Gill is out, so Sanju goes up. That means you're not going to require a Jitesh because he's out of the squad. Now what happens? That slot suddenly opens up of a finisher. So you had to fill that slot. And again, Rinku Singh was unfortunate to have been left out in that South Africa series, because before that he had always been with the Indian T20 team, would seldom get chances to play in the 11. Whenever he got his chances, he performed as well. I remember that Asia Cup final, just got one ball to play, got a four, and then suddenly, without getting consistent chances, was dropped. But I think that was looking at the combination, and that's where I agree with the soundbite that you just played of Ajit Agarkar, the chairman of selectors, that it was down to combination. So as soon as Jitesh is out, it opens up a position for a finisher. And who's the best finisher right now, apart from the players that you already have in a Hardik Pandya in your team, and to an extent in Akshar Patel? It had to be Rinku Singh. So he slots back in. And that, I think, is the primary reason. I think one more factor that could have gone in Rinku's favor, you were trying to manufacture a finisher in Shivam Dube, who's not naturally a finisher. He's a top order batter. All his runs, whenever he's done well for either India or his franchise Chennai Super Kings in the IPL, it's been in the top, 3, 4, or at best 5. If you were trying to make him bat at 7, 8, I don't think that was a natural position. Rinku is far more suited to that. So I think, again, if you look at the larger picture, it then suddenly makes sense. Again, I repeat that one piece of the puzzle in Shubman was out, and that ensured all the other pieces just fell into place.
Oh, yes. And your thoughts on the vice captain, Akshar Patel, the right choice?
Again, I think great choice. It was quite unfortunate. Suyash, again, I take our viewers back to what had really happened previously. When you did not have Shubman, I'm taking you back, 5, 6, 7 months ago, when Shubman Gill wasn't part of the T20 setup. It was Akshar Patel who was the vice captain, and you appointed Surya Kumar Yadav as the captain. And that phase, I can say, probably has been a golden phase in Indian T20 cricket, and that phase has actually continued, where you've not lost a bilateral series or a multilateral tournament in that format. India has been outstanding, but unceremoniously you removed or took away that vice captaincy from Akshar Patel, because you brought in a Shubman Gill, maybe because you were thinking of him as captain. But that experiment, as I explained earlier, didn't work out. So you had to go to the man from whom you had first taken that vice captaincy away, and that is, of course, Akshar Patel. Akshar is also one of the certainty who's going to start, because we've seen the Indian team, their fascination for having batting till number 8. That ensures that if you are going to play one fast bowling all-rounder in Hardik, you have to play another all-rounder, and that has to be Akshar Patel. And he's been quite a player for India, whether it is with the bat or the ball. So it was natural that you go with Akshar. The only one, I think, in all of this who probably would be sitting and smirking would be a Hardik Pandya, because not too long ago he was being looked at as the captain of the T20 team. In fact, he captained the Indian T20 team for very long, then was removed. Sky was made, Akshar was made vice captain, then Shubman made vice captain. In all of this, the name of Hardik Pandya hasn't really crept back into that leadership role, and that is another mystery why that hasn't happened. We've heard from the selectors earlier, they said, and the reason they're taking that away from Hardik is because injury concerns with Hardik has been an issue. So which is why they don't know whether he'll be available for all series, so they're reluctant to give him a leadership role. Be that it is may, at the moment, I think Akshar Patel a good choice to be a vice captain.